Johnny Gaudreau went back to Calgary and got booed a lot. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how the Blue Jackets had no right to walk out of there with even 1 point, and goaltending. We're going to talk about all of that and more on today's Locked on Blue Jackets.
For Locked on Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked on Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked on Blue Jackets, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. I am, as always, your host, Jay Foster, here to bring you news stories, good, bad, the ugly. It's going to be a lot of that last one in this episode, I think, about your favorite team and mine, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Before we get started, I want to thank everyone for making this your first listen of the day, every day. Locked on Blue Jackets is free and available on all podcast platforms. We're also over on YouTube. If you haven't hit subscribe over there, please feel free to do so. It helps me out. It helps you out. You get notified when episodes go live, and everybody wins. Now, before we get started as well, I also have to let you know that this episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network. Make every moment more and visit FanDuel.com/lockedon today to get started. And where we're going to get started is that game, which was, honestly, the Blue Jackets had no right to to perform as well. Well, okay, the Blue Jackets had no right to take that game to overtime. They got outworked in basically every area, except they somehow managed to score 2 power play goals in like 50 seconds. So, hey, great to see the power play working. That's only Patrik Laine's second power play goal this year. He scored to make it 2-2. 2 primary assists from Johnny Gaudreau. Again, you love to see it. I was expecting a big game out of him. We talked about that yesterday with Jess Belmosto of Locked on Flames. My prediction was not quite right. I believe Jess got right, though. She said a 4-3 overtime win for the Flames. Johnny Gaudreau was involved in the first 2 goals, and he was on the ice when the third goal was scored, but did not get an assist. So I'm going to count that as him being involved in the goal because it's my podcast and I can say what I like. But really, really great to see. For someone who has been on a little bit of a cold streak recently, it's nice to see him coming and showing up big on a night when a lot of the team did not. Similarly, Patrik Laine, he has like 11 points in his last 7 games. He's really, again, continuing to show up. Okay, Johnny Gaudreau actually has 5 points in his last 3 games, so he's not been on as much of a cold streak as I thought, but still really great to see him show up big, as it were, on a night where he got booed basically every time he touched the puck. So that kind of, he knew it was coming. I think it was funny. They cheered during the tribute and then immediately started booing him again. So I think a lot of the booing was, at least some of it was kind of good-natured, but it did make me laugh. He also had a penalty shot, which he unfortunately didn't score on, and he had 5 shots on goal, plus at least one which will not count, where he rang it off the post to tie the game. Which, I mean, Boone ended up tying the game shortly after that anyway, but a really, really good night from Johnny Gaudreau, which we need good nights from Johnny Gaudreau. It's when the stars show up like they did last night, like they did against San Jose, it's going to be a good night. And did they get the win? No, but also there was absolutely no way that they should have even gotten close to overtime without goals from Laine, that goal from Boone, assist from Johnny Gaudreau. Kirill Marchenko now has 10 goals and 0 assists, which is extremely funny. And I kind of hope that he keeps this streak going for as long as possible. There was a I think it was like the 2014-15 season. Brandon Perry was a Florida Panther, and he finished the season with 22 goals and 2 assists somehow. Like, it made absolutely no sense, but that's kind of what I hope Kirill Marchenko does. Because again, I think it's friggin' hilarious. But the stars showed up, and so did the goaltender. And we're going to talk about the goaltending in just a minute. First, I have to talk to you about Athletic Greens because it's a really, really great product. It's something that I've been using on and off for about a year now, and I just feel so much better every time I remember to take it. I wanted better gut health. I wanted more energy. I didn't have time to, go through swallowing like a whole fistful of pills every day. And Athletic Greens is perfect for that because it's all in one. With one scoop, you are absorbing 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. Support gut health, nervous system, immune system, energy, recovery, focus, aging, just all of the things that we need to live our best lives. It's lifestyle friendly. It costs less than $3 a day. And it's just a really great way to invest in yourself. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health, arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just one scoop in a cup of water every day. There's no need for a million different pills or supplements to look out for your health. And to make it even easier, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Once again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. So let's talk goaltending, because Joonas Korpisalo set a new high in shots, or in saves, excuse me. I don't know if it was a new high in shots faced, but a new high in saves. It was, let me pull it up. He made 45 saves in total versus the 25 that the Blue Jackets had. And then when you go to shot attempts, it is 87 shot attempts to 45. The Blue Jackets had no right to still be in this game. Just none. No right. And if we go and look at Korpisalo's process in this game, which I will see if I can find while I talk to you about something else. Yeah, Korpisalo I thought was phenomenal. He was the best player by far, and that's not a sentence that I expected to say a lot this season, but he's really making a good case to stay on this team, which again is, I'm not sure that's what's going to happen. Is he our best goalie right now? Yes. Is he the only expendable goalie? Maybe. The problem is that his contract expires at the end of the year. He's a UFA. The team went into this season expecting to either keep him as a rental for the playoffs or flip him at the deadline. I still think flipping him at the deadline is an option here. I think he is really increasing his value with this run of play. But it's I don't know. It's tough to say in terms of what they're going to do with Joonas Korpisalo, because they just what do you do? Do you keep the only good goalie that you have right now, and let him walk at the end of the season? Do you trade him? See if you can get Elvis back on track, bring Tarasov up from Cleveland, and run that tandem for the rest of the season. I could see them going both ways. I don't know that Korpisalo will be a Blue Jacket next season. I can't see a path in which unless they decide to cut their losses with Elvis, if they decide to trade him, buy him out, whatever, I don't think we're that. I don't think the Blue Jackets are there yet. I think next season is going to be a huge season for Elvis. Next season feels like it's going to be make or break. But I don't think they dump him yet. So I wonder, do they give Korpisalo another 1-year extension? Do they flip him at the deadline and go with Merzlikins and Tarasov? I think the play of Tarasov has been really reassuring this season, but it I don't know. It's a tricky one because you're really kind of it's a real risk to trade your best performing goalie. And I understand that the Blue Jackets, like, it's better for them at this point. It's better for them to lose games, but it really, I think what it comes down to is what can they get for Joonas Korpisalo? And honestly, if you like the play he's been, like his play at the minute is good enough that I think a first-round pick is not entirely out of the question. So then it becomes who needs goaltending and who still has their first-round pick. So he's a 908 save percentage. His last 2 games, he's had a 920 and a 918. Game before that was Carolina, which doesn't count, and then the game before that was a 929. So every game he plays, he's pushing his trade value up, and he's also giving the Blue Jackets a chance to win games. So we'll see. It'll be a shame to lose Joonas Korpisalo. I've been saying this for like 2 years now. I'm going to miss Joonas Korpisalo. I think he's a good goalie that plays better the more he plays. I think it's probably why we're seeing such good performances out of him this season. He's been playing a lot because Elvis has been struggling. I think he's a fun guy. I think I have liked his and Elvis's tandem for the last couple of years. So I understand that it's time to move on, but I will miss having Joonas Korpisalo, and hey, maybe he'll go and help a playoff team do a deep push. I don't know who, like Toronto might be an option. I know that there's some drama happening there with their goaltending. Beyond that, I can't think off the top of my head. LA might be an option, obviously, with Jonathan Quick getting older and older. Cal Peterson not doing it anymore. I believe that they have Phoenix Copley of North Pole, Alaska, which is my favorite place that a goalie has ever come from, doing more work than they thought at the minute. And yeah, he's succeeding, but I wonder if LA is an option for Joonas Korpisalo, which would mean I would still get to cheer him on because, as we know, or newcomers to the podcast, I am a part-time LA Kings fan. I don't want to talk about it. It's fine. It kind of happened by accident, but hopefully Joonas Korpisalo goes somewhere that we can all cheer for him and not Toronto. But I want to talk about one more quick thing, and then get into the preview for tomorrow's game. I believe Wednesday night they are facing Edmonton, so we're going to talk about that in a minute. But first, I've got to talk to you about FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are here. We're really excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On because they're the number one sports book in America. It's FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. New customers, you can join today to get started with $150 worth of free bets when you place your first $5 bet. That is $150 in exchange for $5. That's a pretty good deal. Just sign up at fanduel.com/locked-on. They've got all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props, and you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same game parlay. And this weekend or this week, you could put some money on, I don't know, the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets winning in Edmonton seems unlikely at this point. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but you can do that at FanDuel on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, at fanduel.com/locked-on. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Okay, so I wanted to briefly touch on the officiating last night, which was maybe the most egregious officiating I have ever seen. And I've watched a lot of games, and I do want to preface this with I don't usually go after the refs because I think it's an incredibly hard job. I think if they were, that they're only human, they can only see so much of the game. Sometimes they're facing the wrong way, sometimes they're distracted by other things, sometimes they miss things, sometimes they make bad judgment calls. It's a tough job. It's a job that you do. Like, if I had to do my job at, 20 miles an hour skating around an ice rink while, there was a game happening around me, and I understand it's their job to focus on the game, but, like, my point still stands. It's a hard job that they do at high speeds. I don't know that I could do my job at high speeds. I don't know that I could do their job. It's a very tough job, and I understand that things get missed. However, the officiating last night, in overtime specifically, was maybe the worst case of officiating I've ever seen. So Patrik Laine gets interfered with, gets hauled down. Johnny Gaudreau gets hauled down about 3 seconds later. They're both out of the play, and the Flames get a 3-on-1, which they score on to win the game. Like, okay, yeah, it is what it is. Officials miss calls all the time. And I do want to say that they missed calls the other side as well. I tweeted about them. Erica Branson got away with one early in the first. Patrik Laine got away with one later in the game. There was a missed high stick on Adam Boquist as well earlier in the game. I don't know, man. It was just a bad night for officiating. And it wasn't even that it got out of control, really. Like, I've seen games where the officials are like, no, we'll let them play, and they'll get out of control. I've seen games where the officials call everything. If they look at someone the wrong way, the too many men penalty, I thought, could have really gone either way. I was fine with it in the moment, but, like, looking back on the officiating as a whole, like, just some real bizarre calls. And it's so frustrating, especially in overtime as well. I understand that you should call the game the same, whether it's the first period of a meaningless Flames Blue Jackets game on a Monday night or game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Like, you should call the game the same way. And I understand that they let things go in overtime. And that's frustrating for many reasons. But I just needed to get it out of my system, get it out of the way, complain about the refs, and move on, because the Flames game was a good test, I think, to how the rest of this trip is going to go. The Blue Jackets, like I said, they had no right walking out of that with a point, but I will take it, and we'll see how they do with their next opponent, which is the Edmonton Oilers, who have victimized the Blue Jackets in recent memory. I know there's a Connor McDavid goal that is still on highlight reels everywhere that he scored against the Blue Jackets a couple of seasons ago. They have some real firepower. They're on a 6-game win streak right now. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. Could get interesting. In terms of players to watch, here's one for you. Zach Hyman has 12 points in his last 5 games. That is not who I expected. 8 of those are assists, 4 goals. Connor McDavid has 5 goals in his last 5 games. I'm looking for him to have a big night. On the flip side, Patrik Laine has 6 points in his last 5 games, including 2 goals. Johnny Gaudreau's got 4 assists in his last 5 games. He's got 1 goal. The goaltending is suspiciously good. Stuart Skinner is having a real good rookie season. He's got a .915 save percentage, 13-10-2. Jack Campbell has been struggling. He's 14-8-1 with an .887 save percentage. I assume that the Blue Jackets will see Skinner. And I assume that Korpisalo will probably also play in that game. So it'll be Korpisalo versus Skinner for the goaltending. And then I just looked at the team stats to kind of get a sense of where they are. The Blue Jackets are no longer 32nd on the power play, which is exciting. After 2 power play goals last night, they've moved up to 31st in the league. On the flip side, the Edmonton Oilers have the best power play in the league at 31%. So I think the key for this game is don't do crime. Don't do crime, because chances are they will make you pay. like I said, McDavid, Draisaitl, Zach Hyman, they're all threats on the power play. Leon Draisaitl has 73 points this season. Connor McDavid is up to 88. 88 games in 48 games. Like, he's probably gonna crack 150 points this season. He could hit 70 goals. Like, just a monster, ridiculous season from Connor McDavid. Of his 40 goals, 16 of them are power play goals. Zach Hyman has 12 power play goals. Leon Draisaitl also has 16 power play goals. So, that's from those three guys. Although I think it might just be those three guys. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has 7. Tyson Barrie has 2. So 9 goals from people not Connor McDavid, Zach Hyman, or Leon Draisaitl. So it's that top unit that's really getting it done. So if they can keep those guys off the ice, then that would be great. I'm not super confident about this game. I wasn't super confident about last game, but it went okay. Well, it didn't go okay. It was, by all accounts, a bad game for everyone except like Johnny Gaudreau, Patrik Laine, and Joonas Korpisalo. But if the Stars show up against Edmonton like they did against Calgary, if Joonas Korpisalo shows up like he did against Calgary, it could potentially turn into a pretty fun game. In terms of predictions, I'm going to go with Patrik Laine opening the scoring because he's on a real hot streak at the minute. Like I said, 11 points in his last 7 games. Had 3 points in Calgary last night. I am going to predict, I'm going to say it's a 5-4 overtime win for the Blue Jackets. I don't know why. That's the feeling I get. I'm sticking with it, and we'll see how it goes. That's all I've got for you today. Tomorrow we will do a prospect report. We are going to be starting our draft coverage a little bit earlier this season. So we've got some draft profiles coming, and we're going to do Connor Bedard because why not start with the big gun? So that's going to be tomorrow's episode. Thank you for listening to this episode. Thank you for making it your first listen of the day every day. Locked On Blue Jackets is free and available on all podcast platforms. We're over on YouTube, and we'll see how the game goes. You can follow me on Twitter for game updates at _Jacob Foster, JAKOBFORSTER. You can follow the podcast at LO_Blue Jackets. If you have comments, questions, criticisms, you can email me at lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. And until tomorrow, make sure you stay locked on.